Hey everyone, my name's Sari. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to day 4 of the Simplify Your Life challenge. If you'd like to follow along with this challenge, there is a playlist that I will link on the screen that will take you to a little intro video about what this is, and then day 1 where we set our intentions, day 2 where we declutter our wardrobe, and day 3 where we declutter our books. Today is day 4, declutter your paper. For me, the line between day 4 and day 5 get a little bit blurred. So day 5 is declutter your stationery, which is like your office supplies, like notebooks, note cards, pens, all of the assorted things. And paper in this case means letters, mail, random manuals that you keep around for things, etc. Mine are all shoved all together in every available space. So it's a little bit difficult for me to separate office paper from paper. So days 4 and 5 kind of run together. I'm going to release them as 2 videos because that's how the challenge is structured. The point of day 4 is basically to get rid of all of the random paper you have all over your house. We all have drawers, right? We all have at least one, probably more than one drawer that's just full of assorted old mail, receipts, menus, manuals for things we probably don't even own. Let's be real. We all have that, right? If you don't, congratulations. You are a better human than me. So what we're focusing on today is taking all of those papers out of their normal space, whatever that is. So letters, junk mail, business cards, takeout menus, pamphlets, informational booklets, manuals, warranties for things, receipts, important documents like birth certificates, wedding certificates, education certificates, tax records, any and all bills, paid and unpaid, bank statements, insurance statements, all of those financials things, vehicle titles, loan documents, recipes, old school assignments or notes, printed photos, printed notes, handwritten notes, that stuff. Take it all out, put it on the floor, sort through it. That's the general plan for today. There's not really a lot of guiding questions here. If you look at the ebook from muchelleb, which is, as usual, linked below and is what I am using as my guide for this challenge, she really breaks it down and is like, here's what you should do with this. There's not questions so much as guidance that is already existing. We'll do the usual thing. I'll walk you through this. I'll put the little cards on the screen. I'll give you some explanation. And then I will show you my process. The first thing you need to do when you take all of those things out are sort them into piles of things I need to keep, things that I don't necessarily need to keep, but might have some sentimental value, and things I can recycle. In my case, there was things I can recycle and things I can't recycle and need to be trashed because you can't recycle everything. Letters or mail that needs an action. So unpaid bills, things you haven't responded to, keep those. Warranties that are still relevant and in date and for things you own. If you don't own it, get rid of it. If it's not relevant, get rid of it. If it's no longer in date, get rid of it. You don't need those things. They're not valid, so why are you keeping it around? Insurance policies that are still in date and relevant, same as warranties. If it's currently relevant to you, you need to keep a record of that. Vehicle titles and registration documents for vehicles you own. Makes sense? Loan documents. Bank statements, if you can't access them online and you need them for tax purposes. If not, why do you have them? You do need to keep all of the important certificates like birth, marriage, death, divorce, educational, all of that, you need to keep that. Things like wills, power of attorney, those legal things, keep those. Tax records. Check the requirements in your area. In some cases, you do need to keep physical copies of tax records for a certain amount of time in case you need them. In some cases, you can have electronic copies and those are fine, and then you can discard the physical copies. Just check your regulations on that. Keep them if you need to keep them. If you can get them electronically and those are valid and accepted, then just get them electronically. Medical documents that you will need to use in the future. Category 2, things you should store online or photograph. Receipts that you might need in the future. So gifts, large electronics, furniture. Again, check your local requirements and laws because some stores will honor electronic receipts or photographs of receipts. And in some places you cannot do that. So if you think you need to keep physical receipts for things that you might return, basically check the return policy. And if the receipt is older than that return policy, they're not going to take it back anyway. For large electronics, you often need the receipts for warranty or maintenance or repair. So make sure you're keeping some copy of that in whatever form you need to keep it, electronically or otherwise, for the length of that warranty or guarantee period. Furniture, same thing, just keep it around as long as the warranty is valid. Once the warranty is not valid, you don't need the receipt. Recipes that you've printed and actually use, you can take a picture of that, you can scan it in, you can have it electronically. You don't need to have a whole paper copy of recipes. Those can be accessed digitally. How many of us are in the kitchen just trying to call up a recipe on our phone anyway? In some cases, it might be useful to just get all of your recipe books online and eBook, and then just have a kitchen tablet. It'll get messy, but it's a lot nicer than having to leaf through a bunch of papers and spilling things on the papers, and then the pages get stuck together, and then you're losing things. And it's a lot easier to clean off the surface of a tablet once you're done with it than it is to try to make a recipe book not wet and sticky anymore. So anything like that, you can use electronically. Business cards that you actually might need in the future. So people who have contacted you that you need to know their contact info. I really recommend an online address book like Google Address Book is a great one. It just allows you to input that information and then you have it stored in your phone. And it's a lot easier than having to sort through or leaf through a bunch of business cards trying to find the person you like. You can just search for them. Outlook, if you have that for work, also will let you set up contacts that way. So think about putting those into an electronic system so that they're searchable rather than digging through a bunch of business cards that are all over the place. Take out menus you use regularly. If you use them and you cannot get them from the business's website themselves, which most places you can, then take a photograph of it so that you at least have a record of it. Manuals. Most of these are available online. Even if you own the thing, you can still usually access the manual in an online format. So look if there's an online version, and if there is, then you probably don't need to keep the physical user manual. Things like cards people have sent you, sentimental items, right? Like, I know there are a few cards that I'm saving that are, oh, this is the last card I got from my great-grandmother ever. She sent me this. And I like to have the memory associated with that, but I don't know that I need to have the physical object. Just like, I'll take a picture of it and keep that so I can still look at it and remember that and things like that. Special letters and special cards, you can decide. I mean, if keeping it makes sense to you and you really have a sentimental attachment to the physical object, then keep it. But consider whether you can just take a picture of that card or that letter or whatever and flip through the memories that way. Just put them in a folder and you can say, oh, hey, I'm going to go back and look at all of these things and the memories associated with these letters or these cards, these sentimental things. We'll get to sentimental objects in a few days in the challenge, but those will come up. So I recommend considering whether you can photograph those and just maintain those memories elsewhere. Things to discard. Bank statements. They're online. You don't need them. Shred them, of course, before you just toss them in the recycling. I really recommend buying a crosscut paper shredder. I think I got one for like $25. So it's a good investment. We shred all sorts of things all the time. Letters that don't need action if you just have them around. This is another thing where if it's a sentimental thing, you could scan it or photograph it so you can still read it and go back and feel those good feelings. But consider truly whether you need to keep that physical copy of that letter. Junk mail, pamphlets, brochures, magazines, etc. If you're not going to look at it, recycle it. Warranties that are not in date. If it's not in date, you don't need the documentation. Bills you've already paid, shred those as well, because you probably don't need the record. Again, check for tax purposes. Local laws are different, but probably you don't need to keep that. Old assignments or assignment notes. In this case, there may be some things that you actually to reference in your job. I know that's the case for me. I pulled out only the things that I need to keep and put them in a binder. I have to go through that periodically to make sure that that's still relevant. And it would be really nice if I could scan those in and get them in a digital format, but that is a big project. So that's really a nice to have, but not a top priority right now. Still, do you need to keep every single assignment or all of the notes from every class you ever took? Absolutely not. You can get rid of a lot of that. Other printed photos, letters, handwritten notes that don't serve a purpose, need action, or bring you joy. If they serve a purpose, keep them. If they need action, keep them. If they bring you joy, either keep them or photograph them. If they do none of those things, put them in the recycling. So those are our guidelines for today. I have paper and stationery and all of it stashed all over the house. So we are going to do this in chunks. Mostly because it's in 3 different rooms. So I don't really want to carry it all around into one room. So I'll do it in pieces, but I will put the footage in right here and you can watch my progress and a little bit of it, my decision making. And I will be back at the end to wrap things up. More of my shame. This shelf. Ooh, this shelf where I just throw all of my random stuff. And I get all the papers and stuff off of the bottom of that and start putting those somewhere. We also have to go through my work desk, and then there is a like white plastic shelf thing that I've had since I was in university that has a bunch of stuff in it that's probably really old and also expired. And then there's the living room drawers, the coffee table drawers, the other table drawer, some stuff in the kitchen. Papers it's one of those things that just like end up all over around your house. So I'm hoping that this will be a fulfilling day and I'll feel good. I stayed up so late last night trying to look at new closet furniture on the internet because I was like, oh, I want new furniture for this closet. I want to get rid of this dresser. But then I was like, but you still have too many clothes for all of this furniture that actually fits in your closet. And then I felt bad about myself. I still don't have that whole bookshelf cleared off. So I was like, I can't even move this bookshelf. And like, where am I going to put it? I don't know if I want to get rid of it because it's a nice bookshelf. But it's also like, I don't need that bookshelf. What we should do is move it into the room Jonas works in because there's 2 bookshelves in there and one of them we're basically not using at all. Except for Jonas keeps a bunch of stuff on it. So I should move it in there and then they can have the nicer one because the other ones that are in there are less nice. So I don't know, but that's gonna be a big project. Now I'm doing all of this and I just have stuff all over the house and it also is not making me feel good. I don't know, hopefully going through papers will help with organizing. This is why I don't do it this way. This is why I do it by area. Like I would clean out the whole closet and take out everything in the closet, not just clothes, and like clean it and organize it and like sweep the floors and whatever. This is mostly papers, but it's also like random stuff. So I'm not going to get this whole thing done. It's still going to be messy and make me upset. Ordinarily, I would do this whole shelf. I would do the hall closet itself. Like, this is a weird way of doing things for me, and it feels like I'm half cleaning and nothing's actually feeling good right now. So that's where I'm at, but I'm going to start getting this stuff together. All right, I've gone through this bin, which I bought last year this time to keep all of my receipts and the tags for the clothes I bought in case I needed to send them back right before I wore them. Like, oh yeah, I took the tags off that, but to try it on, but I never wore it, or whatever. And then all the receipts. This is a year, friends. 1 year of receipts and clothing tags. What are you doing? Not to mention those which are plastic and can't get recycled. I bought that much EA7 this year. That much. How many are in here? 1, 2, 3, 6. Six things. And you know, this is like both receipts and tags. There's like 6 billion Adidas and Armani tags in here. Boy. What is wrong with you, actually? My goal is to, one, go through this bin every 3 months or something and take the stuff out. If you're probably not going to return it after 3 months, you probably can't return it after 3 months. And then also, like, maybe don't overflow it. Just a thought. That is a problem. All right, I have to deal with that stuff now. So here's what we have from the bedroom and all of the random mail that was on the kitchen table. From that shelf, which now looks like this. I found a really nice $40, I think, US IKEA nightstand. It'll fit this stuff, which is important. This stuff is, and it should be wide enough for that, and if not, that bin can go. It has like a shelf and then a drawer part, so I can keep random stuff. What nobody seems to have accounted for is the amount of random stuff that is all over. And I know there's like a miscellaneous category, but like all of these boxes of stuff that are like things I have that I kind of feel like I need to keep the boxes for. Maybe I don't. Maybe I just need to throw boxes away. I don't know. It's like, what if something goes wrong and then you have to send it back and then you have the box? It's like, and there's stuff that's in those boxes that I'm like, okay, I sometimes use this and it's a lot more convenient to store it in the box than not, but probably I don't need those boxes. Let's be real. They're just living there for now. Also, this needs to go, and I'm really sad because no one will take a dress that's more than 5 years old, so I just have to like donate it to a charity shop somewhere, which is unfortunate. It's a nice dress. If y'all want a wedding dress, let me know. I'll show you pictures. It's really nice. I don't know, it's a pretty basic style, so I'll give it to you if you like it. I'd rather it go to somebody who is using it than like sit in a charity shop somewhere and probably get cut up and used for a Halloween costume. But I don't know. I mean, I kept it around because it was like, oh, you should preserve it and keep it. But then it's like, why? What am I going to do with it? First of all, I never had any intentions of having kids. And so there was that. Second of all, like, how many children actually wear their parents' wedding dress? Like, oh yeah, let me definitely wear that thing. That's 50 years out of date. Maybe some, but not that many really. So like, what is it doing? It's just sitting here in a box. I've moved it to 2 houses now. Just get rid of it, but I wish I would have thought that ahead of time so that I could do it while I could still donate it to like a resale shop. But right now they're like, yeah, no, we don't want that. So to the charity shop it goes, unless one of y'all claims it. So get your claims in if you want it. All right, I have to go organize my desk. So here's my work desk in all of its
glory. It's fine. I'm working on fixing this issue right here especially. This is where we're gonna be spending most of our time today. That's a lot. There's also this, which I've kind of actually gone through a bit, but still needs work. So yeah, let's get to getting on this, I guess. Okay, so here's my problem, fam. This is my desk drawer, and I have like pens and scissors and a hole punch and an eraser and whiteout, and it's just floating around in here, and it's gonna be a mess in a minute. I have some hard drives back here, and then this is more portable storage media. This is really personal stuff, so it should go over here. To be fair. And then like my headphones, all that. This is just, I need paper that I can grab when I'm on calls for things, although less so because this is my work notebook, which depending on the situation I get for my laptop stand might go under there. Also, these hard drives might go under there. I don't know. It's going to depend on how it looks. I put this here because I really want a space for my personal laptop to go. What I really want are drawer dividers. I mean, they can be the same white plastic ones I have in my dresser drawers. But my problem is that this drawer is only 2 inches high, and I cannot find 2-inch high drawer dividers. They're all 4 inches because I don't want a whole modular system, because I'll get a couple trays, but then they're not connected, so they just slide around. What I need is sections, and then I can get trays within this section to keep the things in, but I can't find any dividers that are that high. So if somebody could help me with that, that would be cool. What I have is a big pile of recycling, some stuff that needs to go in the trash, and then random stuff that needs to get donated. This actually has to go back to work. And then I have some cords, and I still haven't figured out what I'm doing with cord storage. I have a random battery too. I don't know what that is. I haven't done that yet, and I haven't done the living room drawers. Just my desk, that's what we're working with right now. So somebody tell me where to get drawer dividers, okay? Okay. All right, my pile of recycling has grown to this. This is like random free cards and notepads that people send you, you know, like the charity things. I'm gonna see if my mother wants it, otherwise I'll donate it. Can you donate that stuff? Probably, right? That's my recycling pile. So this is address labels and stuff. It's mostly the free stuff people send you, which is still too many for people who don't send mail, and I should really just throw them away, but I don't know, I keep them, and then periodically we have to actually put a label on something and then we grab them, but it's very infrequent. We should just get rid of these. And then I used to have this thing for sorting the mail, but I think I'm gonna get rid of it because it should be in here and we can just deal with the mail. That needs to be a thing that starts happening, is us just dealing with the mail when the mail comes instead of it sitting around. That's where we're at with that now. What a mess. It's like random paper, note cards, probably some batteries, even more SD cards. Yikes. Look at all these thumbtacks. Who needs this many thumbtacks? Me, apparently. Ugh. I do not want to deal with this, but deal with it I will. I need to vacuum this out or something very badly. Like, it still has cat hair from when we owned a cat, which hasn't been for a good long time. Our battery situation, I think those are all dead. Oh no. Then we have like important papers and stuff up here, and I found a ruler. This is really more about the stationery declutter than anything. This is all cards people have sent us, and then old note cards that we got again through those charity things that are like, hey, here's a note card. Just because I do send thank you cards to people. That's where that's at. I still have another drawer, which probably has all of the old manuals in. Today turned into simultaneous day 4 and day 5, like papers plus stationery, just because it's all mixed together. So I don't know. Maybe I'll do some more of it tomorrow. That drawer, we'll see. I need to eat though. I'm so hungry. That's that for now. I gotta put all this stuff away. This is the last remaining drawer. I can't even get it open. Also, these, which to be fair are also a lot of things that we would file under stationery, but there's like random papers and documents and stuff in here. So it's all, once again, totally mixed in. This is all art stuff. I don't need any of it. This is gonna happen tomorrow, and I'm gonna file it under stationery because it's mostly that, but not entirely. This is a mess. It's not that big of a drawer, it's just, that's a lot of junk. This drawer's our problem. We just ignore it most. See what we can do, I think. All right, here's what we have. This is some junk I'm throwing out. This is a bunch of recycling. That needs to be shredded. I have actual things that we still own. And then the Shrine to Our Lord and Savior 3M is here. This is hereby known as the pile of random shit my dad gave me, which includes 2 lighters, a pocket knife, 2 coaxial splitters, and a random plastic bin of tools. And 4 entire flashlights. Yikes. But I have to clean this because it's filthy. But it looks like this. That's exciting. So now that all I have is this stuff, I don't know what's happening with that. It's probably these flashlights will go back in here and then nothing else. And that's exciting. Couldn't even open the drawer before. Here we are.
All right, everyone, we're back. You saw my day was a little chaotic, and we didn't get through everything, but we kind of did, but we kind of didn't, because, as I said, the lines between paper and stationery in this house are kind of blurred because things are stashed together everywhere. But what's really great is I have created an important documents folder. I've put all of my important documents into the important documents folder. All of the important documents are now in one place, so if I need them, I can get them. That's really great. It's very useful, rather than the old system where if we needed a warranty or a car title or a whatever, we were like, what drawer is that in? Where is that stashed? How? I'd have to go through 5 drawers to figure out where I put that thing. Now it's in one place in one drawer. That feels really good. I think I might actually be able to get rid of a table because I don't need to keep stuff in the drawer in it anymore, which was overfull and overstuffed. It was good. We're good. We have more to do tomorrow. That's fine because we did half of stationery today, and tomorrow's going to be mostly stationery in office and a little bit of paper. Tell me about your progress. How did you do? How did it feel going through all of that? Did you have as much unnecessary paper as I did? Were you like, oh, I'm sentimentally attached to every single letter I've ever received? Because people are like that, and that's valid if you feel like that's an okay thing for you. It's not really for me, but it's cool. As long as you have some system of keeping that, that's not going to make you feel like your house is cluttered and chaotic. That's it. I mean, it was pretty basic. It's just go through all of it, keep the important stuff, scan the moderately important stuff, and trash everything else. Not much to it. So tell me how you're doing. Tell me how you're feeling with the challenge. Leave me some comments. What do you think? Don't forget to leave me a thumbs up if you are enjoying this, and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to be notified when the next video goes up. And I will talk to you all in the next one for the stationery declutter. Bye!